Hey guys, silly me, I thought I did a video showing these three heads going on and I had the thing on photo instead, so I'm going to just quickly do one more head as far as showing you how to glue heads and then proceed to the step about putting the putty around them. I prepare the heads, as you know, by cutting slits in here and hollowing it out a little so I get some little bit of fingers with the glue. And I did the same thing on the body. If you can see it, there's like little slits in there. Then what you do is you just generously, and it's a wood glue that I use, something similar to what you call a Gorilla brown glue. That tends to seem to work. And you just fill that hole up in the middle where that pin goes, because I leave that pin in, that push pin. So you put a lot of glue on here like this. You take this glue stick and you put glue around the pin, and you put it around the surface that you're going to be attaching the head to. And, you kind of put it heavy in the center because it will ooze out. So you just kind of do it like that. We take the head, we position the head on the body based on the lines I've drawn on there. You can see I've got a circle on there already, you see. And you just take that head and you position it on there, press it down, get it on there nice and snug. I like to angle them a little bit so they're kind of like looking at you from an angle. And then I just kind of wet that surface a little bit and let that glue just set. Voila, that's all you do. Just clean it up a little bit. We could always clean it up later. You want that glue to set. This stuff is strong. I'm telling you, you could hit it with a hammer later on and break the head off, but it wouldn't break at the seam. It would break someplace else. So there you have it. There's the head glued onto the body. You can kind of see the seam, because you're always going to see that seam, and that's what we take care of. See the seam around there? See, and you're going to have to get this to come down and all the way around, but that seam we're going to get rid of when we do the extra glue. See, there's glue here. Just got rid of it with my finger. Okay? Easy peasy. All right, that's that. Now, how do we finish up these guys? What we do, see how that head comes straight down? Boom, right down into the body. This head is now somewhat firmly attached. I take what I call wood glue, wood putty. I take one that's kind of smooth. They have different versions of it. This one is a smooth version. Very smooth. I use it with a popsicle stick, so it gives me that natural angle I've always talked to you about. I fill in that groove around the center, around that decoy's head with the glue, with the putty. I'm moving some of it into the opening as I see it. If I see it's open, I kind of like just force this in a little bit, like this. See? I may have to do this a couple of times, but the secret is we're trying to make it look like a natural curve down. Instead of coming straight down, we're kind of like trying to angle that head down a little bit down. And again, you got a bunch of glue here, don't worry about it. You can always take that off when you sand. But you see, you just want to work that stick around there. Get that initial coating on there. If you can look at it here, you'll see it's kind of rounded out around the base of that head. See, the glue's kind of working itself around that head. And sometimes you don't want that thing to be too damp or too wet, because it kind of restricts you from getting it to angle. But you do want it to angle. So I'm just going to do a little more here. A little more around the back. A little more around the front. Boom, boom, boom. Clean this up. Got a little bit of a wet towel here. Clean up some of the excess around the body, because you certainly don't need that there. Got some on the bill here, but that's okay. Nobody said it wasn't going to be messy. And then I kind of take it down from the head, especially this head. I mean, I usually don't paint the head ahead of time, but just so happened I had this head and I wanted this head on this decoy. So that's what I did. Painting's not a problem. paint it later. Okay, paint right over, sand it down, paint right over. I get my stick out of here, I do this, get myself some kind of a brush that I keep wetting, and I start to work. Start to try to get that to blend down. Try to get it to come down. Down and out, if I can get it to come down and out. Someone just keep brushing it. And again, I'm going to have to do this maybe 2 or 3 times on certain decoys till I get it built up to the angle I want. Then as it hardens up a little bit, I can start to, work it a little more, a little better. But it's all a matter of patience and time when you do these things. And keep cleaning this off because I don't need any more on here than I have to remove later. The less I have to do later, the better off I am. Clean my head off here. And while I'm cleaning the head off, I'm applying downward pressure because that head hasn't been on there that long. So I want to make sure I'm putting pressure on it. Okay, that takes care of that guy. That's one, and again, you could do it on the next one. You let that set, you let that dry a little, you put another coat on there. Take your popsicle stick, which is here, which is going to give you that angle. You got that perfect round angle there. I can look here and see if I got a spot here on the side that looks like it's in a little too far. Just drop some putty in there, kind of tap it in, and brush through it. Get that brush again and brush through it. Brush down and away because I don't want it to go up and in there. I want it to come down and out from the head. And does it make a big difference on this kind of decoy? Yeah, probably not, but if you can do it, do it. I mean, the more realistic you make them look, the better off you are. So you just keep doing that, keep letting it fill in down around there. You're working your way out from the sides of the decoy. The side's going to need a lot of work, I can see that. But, time is on my side. I've got time to do it. Plenty of time to do it. So, that's what we'll do. We'll spend our time doing it, right? And again, you can see the value of having a not finished head because I got all this putty on here now that I got to worry about cutting off. But when I say worry, I mean it's going to come off. But the less I have to worry about painting, the better off I'm going to be. So I can kind of maybe just take this brush and just kind of clean it down a little bit. Nice little strokes in here, down around under here. Get that putty off of there. See, it's starting to dry already because that's how quick this stuff can set up for you, which is a good thing. I mean, you don't want to be spending forever cleaning everything, Sometimes I'll just take a spritzer like this and spray it. That also kind of works the putty down and out, kind of helps it flow, so if you want to call it that. But it also helps me just clean this for the time being. See, this is a surf scoter. It's going to be a beautiful bird. It's got very multicolored bill on it, and it's just pretty. I love doing these. And as you can see, that head isn't moving as I'm working on it because that glue is set up already, pretty much. So there you have it, Step 1. Step 2, maybe you got to do it 2-3 times so you feel comfortable that you have that bend in your finger or you got that arch coming down out of that bird when it is set. And these are going to be a challenge because these heads are very fat and very deep in there. I got to seep my way right in there. Take a look at this guy. I mean, you can see on the shape of him. I mean, look at that head. I mean, that head's got a lot of work, a lot of roundness to it, going in and under that body. See it all? So I got to do a lot of putty work in there. And but that's the value. Look how neat that looks, though. It's a nice little head on that bird. I mean, I think it looks cool. And again, this has got to settle. And again, you don't be afraid of putting too much wood putty on there because, quite frankly, you know, you get it the way you want it, and then if it's too heavy, you could always sand it off. Just take sandpaper. I always have sandpaper handy. There's always a piece floating around on my desk because I got to use it all the time. Sandpaper, knives, blades, chisels, brushes. You're going to learn to use all of these things successfully once you start carving decoys. Okay? That's it for this session.